is long gone. As far and the Cowboys too, their division is long gone. So forget about the division. And forget about the playoff picture as well for the Redskins. They gotta finish here on out, and as they look forward to 2018, because it's mostly both. Let's face it, folks. It most likely both of these teams are outside looking in right now, and that's the story. And that is the story of the. That is the story of the two New York and Des Bryant finally getting their first. Des Bryant getting his first touchdown in 6 games, passing and became the 32nd career touchdown as he surpassed Hall of Famer Bob Hayes as the all-time receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's another thing with the Cowboys. Dak has to throw the ball to Prescott, as Dak Prescott has to throw the ball to Des Bryant a lot more. Really a lot more. As the Cowboys going to move forward into deeper, as they got at least 4 or 5 weeks to go in the NFL season before the playoffs, because it's getting as the NFL season is getting really intense, as a lot of games is more critical now. Well, we'll get around the NFL. We preview certain games, especially the Giants and Jets, as the Giants go to Oakland, and we all know the Eli Manning story with the Oakland, the Jets. As Darrelle Revis go back to New York, as the member at the Kansas City Chiefs, as he look once again, Darrelle Revis looking to stick it to the Jets, and what Alex Smith trip is going to be like. Because the first trip when he went to the Meadowlands, he couldn't throw the ball, even though the wind, despite the fact the wind was a huge factor against the New York Giants, as it was an ugly game. Well, will the weather play a huge factor in his second trip, as Kansas City looked to go as his second trip going to the Jets, as the Jets and the Chiefs will face each other this Sunday in Week 13. And the Giants, as I mentioned, the Giants are going to the Raiders. And someone need to remind Geno Smith to turn his clock 3 hours behind, because as he gets to the West Coast, as you recall, the last time the Geno Smith was the quarterback from another New York team, when he faced the San Diego Chargers, he put zero effort, and he was late for the game. He was late for the game, and he didn't start. Let's see if the things will be different for Geno Smith as he traveled to the Black Hole to face the Oakland Raiders, as the Oakland Raiders look to still be in the playoff picture in the AFC against the New York Giants. Now that's the story that's pretty much it for the NFL right now. Let's look ahead to the championship weekend, as a lot of games as tonight the championship weekend begins, as the Pac-12 championship 2 hours from now, as Levi Stadiums will host the Pac-12 championship, as the number 12 team, Stanford Cardinal, plays the number 10 team, the Trojans of USC. It's basically athleticism of the University of California take on the Stanford physicality. How Stanford going to bounce back after a short week of preparation after they beat their rival the Notre Dame 38-20 in a short week. And as far as USC is concerned, USC didn't play last week. They beat UCLA. They beat UCLA as they get ready their matchup against and the last time they faced each other was week two or week 4. I'm not too sure. It's around there. I know it was around earlier September, and USC beat Stanford by the score by 18 points and outscoring them by 600 yards. Well, things would be different in neutral field as USC looking to get their first Pac-12, looking to have the Pac-12 North first ever Pac-12 overall championship since the Pac-12 champion happened in 2011. As far as Stanford is concerned, the last time Stanford was in the championship, they won in 2012 against UCLA, their first title against UCLA. So, if I'm not mistaken, so let's see how things has pan out in the Pac-12 championship. If USC gonna win this game, USC did what they did exactly, outlasting Stanford, because if you watch Stanford is gonna beat you in it. Stanford is a physical smash mouth type team. They will run the ball on you, and beat you in and out. That's how USC is going to win. Do not try to get in a physical match with Stanford. Stanford will beat you in and out. They gotta do what they did and outlast them. Like, run a lot of screen plays, throw the football a lot. Don't try to run the ball too much, but and they gotta win the time possession, and don't turn the ball over. Because what Notre Dame outlasted Stanford. But what they lost against Stanford was what they didn't do is didn't play them. You gotta play 60 minutes against Stanford. You gotta outlast them. As I mentioned, out physical them, because you gotta outlast them. You can't get on the toe-to-toe with Stanford. It's a no-win situation if USC. USC have enough athleticism to make it a fast. They have to make it a fast-paced game. Basically, you have to. Because Stanford is the Pac-12 version of Alabama. They will beat you up. They will run the football against you. They are a slow, steady team. USC gotta be outlasting, at least outscore them, not by 900 yards, at least. Maybe I'm exaggerating with the numbers, but that's what's gonna happen. And their defense has not been solid. They 70th in passing, 81st in yards. So they gave up a yard of yards. It could happen. And did I mention before that this game has no impact in the playoff in college football? So this game you shouldn't even worry. The winner of this game will most likely get a trip to the Fiesta Bowl, and the user will probably be in the bowl nobody care about. So this game, most likely, if you're a diehard football fan, you could pretty much skip. Because if you're looking for a championship game to look forward to, there are two games this weekend in college football you could look forward to? 3 games, I should say. ACC Championship, Miami versus Clemson. SEC Championship, Georgia versus Auburn. And finally, the Big 12 Championship, the Big 10, I should say, Wisconsin versus Ohio State. Those are the 3 games you could watch. The Pac-12 Championship game, unless you're a West Coast lover and you love these 2 teams and you're a diehard USC or Stanford fan, this game you could watch. You don't have to watch. Because like I say, these 2 teams are clearly way out of the college football playoff. It doesn't impact. It has no impact whatsoever. And you can see how much anything pans out as far as the college football game is concerned. So pretty much, and Selection Sunday, we should see everything as the college football season is coming to a close. It's coming to a close, and so is this podcast. Thank you. This is going to do it for Drew Mania Live. And thank you so much for listening. You can always follow my show on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And I have more episodes coming up next week. This is Andrew Perry, always saying to you, shalom, let peace go with you, and I'll talk to you in the next Drew Mania Live. So long, everybody. Enjoy all the football, and I'll talk to you next time once again. Thanks for tuning in. So long, everybody. And you can always listen to my show on Spreaker.com. Take care, everybody.